Hello there. Hello there. Happy Monday. I wanted to just do this impromptu live and just talk about what it takes to go from goal to action. And that is what I'm going to go through. Um, Many of you do not know, like my very first coaching certification is from Precision Nutrition. And it gave me so much knowledge in terms of goals, health, wellness, the science behind it, and all of that. And I wanted to share this. Now, this is a resource from Precision Nutrition, and it's talking about how do you go from goal to your action. And this is something that I do with my clients. Now, think about these things, right? Like, how do you develop the skills to reach a goal? Because maybe your goal is, I need to exercise more. And to be quite honest, it's a great goal, but it's not really following that smart um, structure that pretty much says it needs to be achievable, it needs to be specific, it needs to be measurable, right? So saying I need to exercise more, that can mean so many different things to so many different people. So being specific and also breaking those things down, because that could be more of an intention. I have the intention of exercising more, right? But how does that look? You have to look at where you are now. You have to look at, okay, what are the skills that I need to do? What are the tools that I need to have in place? All of this is in consideration. Now, for the goal achievement to happen, you need three things, right? You need to break it down into specific skills. You need to build and improve those skills with targeted practices. And I'm going to go through what these mean. And then break those practices into small daily actions, right? So maybe it is okay. Today I am going to have a 5 minute walk, or I'm going to march in place, right? Like, so that is a tiny sliver of that practice that supports that end goal. Now, what is a skill? And let's go through that. Skill is the ability, competency, and capacity that you need in order to move towards the direction of your goal. And don't mix the skill with information or knowledge, right? Because a lot of us know a lot. Information is so abundant these days with Google and ChatGPT. So we don't struggle much with knowledge, right? Like, we know that the information is out there. So again, the skills is like that ability, what you need, right, to do to accomplish that goal. And they take time and they take practice to develop. That is by breaking them down, it is actually very effective. Now, if you go about what makes it a good practice, right? A good practice involves exercises, involves applications that help you build those skills. So, how are you going to build your skills into a point that you're going to reach that goal? Now, when you have those practices, you break them into actions. And let's put an example. Okay, I want to exercise the CDC guidelines, and I'm picking exercise just because it's simple. The CDC guidelines say that you need to exercise 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week and two strength training sessions. Now, you can take those are like your end goals. That's like your golden standard. Then you can take those and you can break them down into skills and practices. Now, they have to be small, they have to be specific, concrete tasks. So you know that you want to reach that goal, but where do you start? If you're sedentary, if you have not exercised for a long time, what would be your next step? Maybe it is just to incorporate a 10-minute walk after lunch. Maybe it is marching in place for 5 minutes between sessions or meetings or anything that you have going on. It may just be that you're going to pick up your kids, and if possible, you're going to walk to the school instead of driving. I mean, there are different things that you can incorporate. And then when you break them down, what happens is that over time, they become habits. They're so innate, they're so part of you that they're easy to become sustainable when you do that. Now, a good practice or action should follow the 5S formula, and I'm going to go through that. It has to be strategic, right? It has to be deliberate. It has to move towards that goal that you're using. It has to be segmental. It has to be manageable, right? So I've had clients that will say, I want to exercise. So I'm going to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to go and do these classes and I'm going to be at the gym for 2 hours. Nothing wrong with that. However, if you're coming to me and you're not a morning person, you have not exercised, it seems to be a bit of a jump. I'd rather have you progressively increase that movement and that exercise. It has to be sequential, right? It has to be introduced at the right time, in the right order, in the right step. So if you have never done any high intensity in complex classes, it's the same thing with yoga. If you have not done advanced yoga, then maybe starting with that, it's not going to be the wisest decision. You're going to feel a little bit defeated if you don't accomplish it. So it's best to be very clear, very easy, very concrete, and not only that, but make it manageable. Break it into chunks. And that is one of the hardest things for my clients to embrace. They want the grandiose, right? Like the all or nothing. And in fact, what makes it sustainable, what makes it easier to become a habit is to break it down into simple chunks. Now, the other thing is support it. And it could be supported by me, it could be supported by a family member, it could be supported by a coach, a trainer, anyone that can actually support you on this. That is what you should be tapping into for mentorship, for accountability, and for support. You want someone that will support your goal. Now, how do you build that skill and practice plan? You pick a goal, any goal that you want to work on, right? And I'm going to give you a flow chart. I'm going to show it that you can actually put your goal in your page and fill it up. And then you can continue and brainstorm what skills you need to achieve that goal, right? They don't have to be perfect. You have to write your ideas and your practice boxes. And then you imagine a very small activity, a task that you would reliably do every single day, no matter what, in order to reinforce that practice. So let's say that you want to eat more vegetables. So that is your overall goal. You want to eat more vegetables. If you were asking me, I would say, let's go to the guidelines that are established so that you know exactly how many portions of vegetables you're having, how many portions of vegetables, maybe your dietitian is already telling you how many you need to incorporate. Or you can start very small and be like, I want, right? You want to eat more vegetables. But when you go specific, you can say, I want to add one vegetable a day. Maybe you don't eat vegetables at all. I want to add one vegetable a day in one of my meals, right? So what is the practice and like the skills that you need? Now you need to figure out what vegetable you're going to get. You need to maybe go grocery shopping. Maybe you need to think about, okay, in which meal are you going to have it? Do you need to prep it? Do you need to cook it? Do I like it? Do I need to get recipes for it? So you see how everything breaks down, and then you're going to be able to really design something that you know exactly what you need to do and that is going to be sustainable. Now, let me keep going. Again, imagine that very small activity, that very small task. It could be, I'm going to add protein for breakfast. It could be, I am going to add 1 glass of water a day, first thing in the morning when I wake up. Something simple. Break it down into something simple. And then once your worksheet is complete, when you have everything set up, what you do is you review that plan. And that gives you a clear progression. And that's what I do with my clients. We start with, okay, these are your end goals. Let's break them down. And then let's see what practices and what skills you need to perfect in order for you to reach those goals. And then you get started. Now, please do not get started with all 10 practices, 15 practices. You are going to get overwhelmed. Your brain is actually creating a new neural path every time you change or incorporate a habit, and you're going to have natural resistance. The brain is going to try to correct you and tell you, this is not a good thing, and it's going to try to pivot. So please, please, please Figure out one thing that you want to do, just one. And then iterate and adjust as you're going. Maybe that practice and that task and that it's not something that you can adapt in the long run. So you can always pivot. Maybe that vegetable does not fit breakfast, but maybe it fits lunch. Maybe that 10-minute walk, it's nearly impossible in the morning because you have to get ready for work and you have the kids, but maybe the evening one and you can make it into a family event. So think about how you can pivot. Don't feel that you're a failure if maybe a skill or a goal did not really fit. You just have to adjust because everybody's different, right? We're all bio individuals, we all have different lifestyles, and that's what you can do. And here, like, I'm going to explain a little bit about why you can't do it all at once, right? Don't try to race to the finish line. Don't, like, skills take time to develop, like everything else that you do. Unless you're super gifted, most things you need to do them over and over so that you can perfect that skill. So it's the same thing with all of these things. You have these goals, you need skills, and you need practices. Um, Plus, remember that consistent practice is what ensures that the skills, the actions stick. Because in the end, that's what I tell my clients. When they're embracing a habit, I tell them, do you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life? You will always hear me say that. Can you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life? Or are you seeing it as a temporary thing and you're going to do a little patchwork and that's it? So think about that. And remember that you need to make each action manageable and realistic so that you can succeed, right? Each small success improves your competence, improves your development. It means you kind of level up. So a lot of people are like, I need to get to 8 glasses of water. If you're only drinking 5, start with one more and then you build from there. Your body's going to get used to that extra hydration. You're going to feel better. And that is going to be motivation itself. The same thing with exercise. You don't need to go from never going to the gym to going to the gym 3 hours. Is it sustainable? That's typically what I ask. And most of my clients are able to balance their blood sugar, lower their A1C, gain their energy. The brain fog is gone, and they don't really have to spend that much time at the gym. They incorporate movement and exercise in smaller pockets, and that actually is extremely effective. And more than effective, it is sustainable. They're able to keep that in the long run. So, celebrate every small victory. A lot of people take it for granted, and sometimes we all sort of ignore how much we have done, how many changes, and all that. Think about all of your victories and celebrate them. Did you consistently drink that extra glass of water? Did you not grab that cookie that you knew you didn't need, that it was just a craving, and maybe grab a balanced snack instead? Like, think about these things and celebrate them. Now, I'm going to show you this is the spreadsheet, right? So here's your goal. You would write, what do you want to accomplish? And you don't even need this. You can write this down. I know that it may look a little small, but you can write this down. Your goal. Take a sheet of paper, put your goal at the top. What do you want to accomplish? Right? I want to follow the CDC guidelines and exercise for 30 minutes, 5 days a week, or 45 minutes, X days a week. Again, you do the math based on your availability. Then the skills. Think of 2 main skills. What are 2 skills that I need to accomplish that goal? Then break those skills into practices. What behaviors do you need to repeat to build that skill? Right? If you're talking about exercise, well, I should be able to um, go to the gym or grab a class or, right? Think about skills as tools. What do you need in order for you to then incorporate that practice? And then the practice will be into, okay, what behaviors do you need to repeat to build the skill? Okay. Then you get that practice and you break it into actions. What are specific tasks that you can realistically do every single day? I know that sometimes when I work with clients, they're like, I'm going to do this 2 days a week, 3 days a week. I will say that the skills and the people that I've seen that are very successful, they embrace these actions and they typically do it every single day. I know sometimes Sundays we take it easy and we have a different routine, but this is what makes your body almost remind you that, oh, you need to do this. Okay? So hopefully this is helpful. If you need more help in terms of establishing your goals, identifying the skills and the practice, feel free to book a clarity call. It's a free clarity call. I will talk about any solution that I may have for you, but it is truly a call for just to talk about your challenges, to talk about your health and wellness. I specialize in diabetes prevention. However, I am a national board certified health and wellness coach. So any other thing that you want to talk about, that you want to find that safe place and get some guidance, I'll be more than happy to point you to the right direction. So feel free to book a call. I will put the link. And also, if one of the skills is to actually create a better environment around food, I have many free resources and I'm going to link them all below so you can take a look and have an amazing week. I hope that this is helpful. I hope that you're able to set one major goal, break it into your skills, then practices, and then small actions so that you can finally feel that you have accomplished your goals. Have an amazing rest of your week.